Langchain is a framework that allows you to build applications on top of LLM or large language model. In this video, we are going to go over all the basics of Langchain, and then we'll build an online business name generator application using Google Colab and Python 3. First, let's understand what is Langchain and what kind of problem does it solve. When you are using ChatGPT as an application internally, it is making calls to OpenAI API, which internally uses any LLM such as GPT 3.5 or 4. In this case, ChatGPT itself is not an LLM. Rather, it is an application where GPT 3.5 or 4 are large language models. Now, let's say you want to build an application for online business name generator where you give the name of business and then it will generate some fancy names. In this case, I want to generate some fancy names for my business. Let's say interior design business. As you can see, it has generated names like Design Hive, Decor Hub, etc. This is the sample application which we are going to build, with the caveat that this is going to be an LLM based application. And for this, we can use the same architecture as ChatGPT application, where we can directly call OpenAI API. Here I have provided a screenshot of the main API, so you can call it and you can get a behavior similar to ChatGPT. Internally, it will use GPT 3.5 or 4 model. In this case, once again, online business name generator is an application similar to ChatGPT, but internally you are using OpenAI API and LLMs. Now, there are a couple of limitations of following this approach. The reason I'm telling you this, because nowadays there is a big boom in the industry where every business wants to build their own LLM, and you would think why they can't use ChatGPT. Reason is because ChatGPT has no access to your internal organizational data. So people want to build applications which are based on LLM. There are also couple of other things to consider. First of all, calling an OpenAI API has a cost associated with it. For every 1,000 calls, they will charge $0.002 or something, that you can check it in the OpenAI pricing page. But there is a cost associated with it, and if you are a startup who is having funding issues and you know your budget is limited, this is going to be bottleneck for you. Another thing is, you might have noticed ChatGPT doesn't answer latest question. Its knowledge is limited to September 2021 as of now. So if you want to incorporate some latest information, let's say from Google or Wikipedia or somewhere else, you can't get that here. The other issue is, at least in my own company, if I want to know how many employees joined last month, then ChatGPT can't answer because it doesn't have access to my own internal organizational data. So if you use this kind of architecture for building your application, you will hit some roadblocks, or you will rather have some limitations. See, if you have just OpenAI API, it is not enough to build LLM. Therefore, you need some kind of framework where you can call OpenAI API a GPT-3 or a GPT-4, or maybe if you want to save the cost, you will call some open source models such as Hugging Face, Bloom. There are so many models out there. Let's say you want to use them and you don't want to spend money on OpenAI GPT model, then this framework should provide that plug-in-play support. You can integrate to one of these models and your code kind of remains the same. This framework should also provide integration with Google Search, Wikipedia, or even integration with your own organizational database, so that the application can pull information from these various sources as well. And this framework is Langchain. That is what it does. It is a framework that allows you to build applications using LLM. Okay, now let's create an application using Langchain. So before we start doing the coding, we have to do some initial setup. First of all, we have to create an account in OpenAI. For that, you need to sign up. Okay, once you are able to sign up successfully using your Gmail ID or personal email ID, then you will land up in this page. Okay, for me, I have already created two keys, and that's why you are able to see this. And this key starts with SK, which stands for secret key. Now, to come to this page, you can go to your profile and click on the view API keys. This will you will come to this dashboard. You can also create a new key. Just type in some name and click on create secret key. As soon as the key is being created, copy this key and store it in some safer place. Otherwise, you will not be able to recover at a later point in time, right? So we are done with the key creation. Okay, now we'll open Google Colab. For that, you go to search bar and type Colab and click on the first link, and it will take you to this page. You can close this pop-up and go to file, click on new notebook. So the new notebook is getting loaded. Yeah, so this is the place where we'll be doing the coding. And but before that, you can change the file name to some meaningful name. So in my case, I'll change it to business name generator LLM. I'll just save it. Okay, now there are a few other setups or installation that we need to do. We have to install Langchain and Open API, right? So for that, you need to type pip install Langchain in this prompt and click on this run option. Once you do that, it will start downloading and try to install. As you can see, it has downloaded and try to install. Then next we'll install Open API. Just type pip install Open API. Okay, Open AI. Yeah, so it is already downloaded for me. That's why it got installed so soon. Now next is that, okay, would be importing the operating system and refer to the key. For that, let's add another line of code. So here we'll say import OS environment. So where here we have created an environment variable called OpenAI underscore API underscore key, and this is the key that we had created. Okay, so it is always advisable to have a separate property file called OpenAPI underscore key, and in that you can store this key. Okay, now once you have installed these modules, let's now import few important things from Langchain. We are going to import the LLM called OpenAI. Then we'll create my OpenAI model, which has a variable called temperature. Now here temperature means how creative you want your model to be. So if the temperature is, let's say, 0, it means it is very safe. It is not taking any risk. But if it is 1, then you want it to be very creative. So for the time being, we'll keep it as 0.6. Oops, there is some issues in my secret key. Probably I'll correct it. Now we'll try to ask some sample questions to my LLM. Let's say I want to ask, explain the concept of machine learning in a simple in one paragraph, and I'll pass this text to my LLM and print it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay, let me select this. Okay, click on the run option. Okay, so now it is printing something, which says that okay, it is a artificial intelligence that enables systems to learn from data. So which means we are successfully able to do the LLM setup, and now we can ask questions around our business name for which we are building this application. So let's say I'll create a variable called business name, and I'll pass I want to come up with an online store. Please suggest some fancy names to my LLM. Fancy names for the business. So now once I hit the run option, okay, before that I need to print business underscore name, and click the run option. It will give me a list of some fancy names. As you can see, the online boutique, shop and save, e-shop galore, click and buy, all. So far we have created an LLM, and in the LLM we are just passing a simple text. Now I don't want to keep on changing this same string. uh, Otherwise what will happen is that okay, if at all I want to pass a different name for my online business, let's say fashion or retail, then every time I have to keep changing that uh, text. So there is an option called prompt. Okay, that we can leverage, as part of Langchain it comes. So now I'll go ahead and create something called prompt template. So from Langchain dot prompts you can import a prompt template, and in that prompt template you can pass some variables such as input variable. So this input variable will be the will hold a reference to the business name. So the template will look like this, and let's say I'll say I want to come up with a online store. Please suggest some fancy names for my business. And we are passing this input variable here. So we'll do the formatting which comes as part of prompt template name, and try to print that. So here you can pass the business name as fashion or retail, or anything that you would like to. Okay, so there is some error. Okay, we missed the curly braces here. Let me just correct it. Let's execute this. Okay. There is a bracket missing. Okay, there is extra bracket that we need to remove. Let's run it. Okay, there is a spelling mistake on the business. Let me correct it. So as you can see, you might be thinking this is more like a Python string formatting, and you would be wondering why you don't use Python string formatting. uh, Let me just show you that there is something called chain, which comes as part of Langchain. So we are going to use this concept of chain in Langchain, and it is one of the most important objects in the language, in the Langchain framework. You can figure out from the name of the framework itself. We are importing LLM chain. Let me just correct that. So it is essentially a very simple object where you are saying my LLM is this whatever you created here, and I can run my chain by passing different values for business. So right now I passed fashion, and you will be able to see different suggested names: Fash, the stylish shop, style fiesta, etc. And if in case I want to pass a different business name, let's say maybe retail, so it is going to generate some names for retail. Thanks for watching. I'll come up with some more videos on LLM. Please do like and subscribe and stay tuned for more such videos.